Alright everyone, it's time for Occult Literature, video number 210, Miracles and Supernatural Religion by Witten. Link in the description of my edition of this work on Amazon, second and third links to my books blogs. This is a shorter booklet, 50-some pages, like 55, 57 or something, essentially on the topic of resurrection, among other things. And not just Lazarus, it goes into some of the biblical stories about the idea of raising the dead. It also then talks about more contemporary accounts, and it's not just about resurrection, about basically necromancy in the latter-day sense. But that is a big part of the work. It also talks about just like healing and things of that nature. More of the positive side. Makes the case that, number one, from the specifically, I believe, Presbyterian background, you would have to believe in these accounts within the Bible, otherwise it negates the Christian religion by and large. It's a big resurrection is one of the biggest facets of the story of Jesus within the Bible, especially his interaction with Lazarus, of course, among other things. But at the same time, he somewhat rationalizes it, the author does, and says, well, here's more proof of the fact that this can happen, which is that, you've got catalepsy exists. Someone falls into basically a long-term coma for 2 or 3 days, and they suddenly snap out of it. There are cases of people being buried alive back then, before modern embalming, back when they just sort of, washed the body, stuck it in a box in many cases. There were cases of people being buried alive. There were serious suggestions. This is noted in this book. This is not a joke. There were serious suggestions that electrical sources should be put in coffins, and that bells should be mounted above the coffin so that the person could press a button if they were buried alive and a bell would start ringing in order to allow them to be disinterred, hopefully before they died. That was a serious suggestion made at the time. Now, nobody thought about the fact that they'd run out of oxygen probably before you could get to the coffin, but that's basically what they were talking about. Interesting times. It was a fearful thing for people back then. Now, of course, they take your blood out and replace it with formaldehyde. So, yeah, I don't think that you're likely to revive under that situation. Of course, once the body's gone through rigor mortis and shit like that, you know that the person's actually, that they're like crepitating and turning blue and bloating. You would think that that would be like the first thing they would check for, to make sure it wasn't a case of catalepsy, but apparently most people didn't understand the decaying process as much back then. This is the case even in earlier times. Like, oh my god, we thought there was a vampire, tuberculosis scare era, I believe early 1800s mainly. We disinterred this body, and oh my god, it was still swollen with blood, it's got rosy cheeks, so they didn't understand the decomposition process. What he's saying is, he even makes the suggestion, oh, maybe Lazarus wasn't dead, he was just cataleptic. And Jesus, of course, yeah, he's divine, he's the Son of God and something, but we don't even need any magical mumbo-jumbo. Yeah, it could happen. Yeah, he called forth Lazarus. He knew that the dude wasn't actually dead because he had, like, medical knowledge or something. It's a very interesting little work. And again, for its spiritual component about resurrection, quite well written as well. Again, link in the description of my edition of this work on Amazon. At this time, it has low ratings. That's because Amazon sometimes takes my works and combines them with pre-existing editions, which are often the PDF scans that I've warned about. The ones that are the original document, they're poorly formatted, they retain all the errors of the original. Second and third links to my books, blogs as well, if you want more sort of slightly mystic Christian works. I've got plenty there. That's about all. Peace out.